Hello there from Kibler Shoes office. Hey, I've had a couple of schools, private schools, that have uniforms and required shoes and footwear with questions and concerns about children's foot health and foot safety. So currently, these schools are using things like Sperry boat shoes or the Hey Dude shoe as one of their approved pieces of footwear for students. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about how we can upgrade this for the kiddos as their little bones are growing and adapting and all their muscles are developing in their foot. So when we take a look at a shoe, such as this, when I twist it back and forth and we get all of this lateral motion, it's basically a step up from a house slipper. So we're not getting that support feature that's going to hold your foot in place, especially as these bones are adapting and growing in a child's foot. There's a lot that happens as they grow. So what we want to do, and this is hard to see because I'm wearing white, I'll put a box behind it. What we want to do is we want to support, especially where this arch is here, and we don't want that foot to flex back and forth. There's a lot of bones that move and wiggle. So what we want to do is we want to hold that foot in a neutral position. We don't want to allow it to crash inward. So as we're standing on a firm, hard surface, you see how we have this beautiful arch to our foot? When you put weight and pressure on that, those bones can crash down. And when that happens, if you look at it from the front, we want this bone to stay nice and vertical. When it starts to crash inward, this is when we end up with some of those knee problems, hips, joint problems going up the body. So when we wear a shoe that doesn't have a lot of support features to it, when your foot is down inside that shoe, it allows a larger range of motion because it's not supporting the foot and it's not supporting that bone structure. So that's an example of a shoe that has a lot of flexibility versus a shoe that has more rigidity or stability and support. Okay, so see, I can't flex this one back and forth as far. This I can practically twist into a knot. Okay, so when we're looking at a shoe for support and stability, we want to make sure it has some rigid structure to it. The toe needs to flex because that's the natural flexion of our foot when we push to take a step. Those bones are going to flex and bend here in the front, the forefoot. Okay. So then when we're looking at a shoe that has a little bit more structure and support to it, we want it to have a heel counter. And that's what keeps the back of the foot or the heel from over pronating or supinating. So when we get too much of that motion right to left, that's called supinating or pronating, depending on if you go more to the medial or the lateral side. So we want a heel counter in our shoe. We also want that shoe to have stability and rigidity. So this is going to, again, support the foot. And then ideally, we're going to have the options of taking out the insole, a removable insole, so that families, students, kids, especially athletes, we can take good care of their foot in that arch by putting in custom, semi-custom insoles, even orthotics made by a podiatrist. So that's another benefit that we want to look for in a shoe as we're picking something out for students. This particular shoe has very neutral colors. So male, female, that's another big thing is that we're actually getting shoes fitted correctly to a student's foot as they're growing. Instead of wearing something real sloppy that doesn't form fit to their foot, these we're going to be able to do male, female sizing, mediums, wides. That's important as well as these toes and the foot is developing, that we're fitting the foot properly so we don't end up squishing those, kind of that foot binding. That's a lot of times where you end up with the bunion, where I'm trying to find a dark spot on the wall. Bunions are caused when a shoe is fit too tight for too long. So that's when that toe, instead of staying nice and straight on that large big toe, it starts to crink over. And then hammer toes happen as well because there's not room for those little tootsies in a shoe when it's too tight. So what our goal is here when we're finding a shoe, especially for a growing child, that it's going to fit them properly. We have enough ample room in the toe box. We've got some support features into the shoe. We've got that removable insole so that we can make sure and customize that for the students who need it. And then again, have something that's still trendy, stylish, different colorways, but it's going to keep their little feet healthier and happier as they grow. So here at Kibler's, we do measure your feet. We've got the adult Branix as well as the children's sticks that we can measure your feet on. And We have Albert, which is a 3D scanner, and we can take images, pictures of the kiddos' feet and watch as they grow to help understand what's happening with all of these beautiful foot bones. Make sure we're taking good care of you as we go. So the shoes we're looking at today are by New Balance. It's just one example of some quality footwear that's going to give you more stability and help those little feet stay happy and safe. Let us know if you have any questions.